The birth of mixed martial arts at the dawn of the 90s turned the post-Soviet era into a true training ground for generations of fighters. Decades later, having brought up a whole galaxy of old-school legends, as well as modern-era stars, local promotions still remain in the MMA Premier League. In this edition of the Top 10, we recollect the most insane knockouts on the canvases of Mother Russia.
На левой руке сейчас была.
The incredible story of Red Tarzan, overflowing with insane triumphs, and of course crazy incidents, deserves a separate chapter in the book of MMA. As wild as he looks, Vyacheslav Datsik moved to St. Petersburg at the age of 18 to devote himself to Thai boxing. Outrageous behavior quickly made Datsik the star of the local fight clubs. But few could have imagined that an occasion would turn the red-haired Tarzan into a no-holds-barred legend. The world Sambo champion Andrei Arlovski was going to make his debut at the M1 tournament in April of 1999. But at the last moment, he missed out on his opponent. Datsik, who was just a spectator, did not turn down the unexpected challenge to enter the cage. Arlovski was left without an opponent. The event coordinators knew that I was in the arena and offered to fight. I said, no problem.
A boxer comes flying across the
In the battle of the two heavyweights, despite Datsik's bursts of activity,
it's a wildly technical move, and Datsik. Oh, what a
Arlovski controlled the action. But in the 7th minute, MMA once again demonstrated its unpredictability.
Who knows what will happen next? And here we are. Whoa!
Failing to evade a killer right hand, Arlovski unwittingly gave the audience what they came for.
Of course.
Although the future UFC champion will redeem himself with a series of victories in the M1, the KO and Datsik's extravagant interview remain unforgettable to this day. Arman Ospanov, a student of the Kazakhstan Sambo school, has always preferred vertical combat to scrapping in close quarters. Having earned a name for himself on the regional scene by 2017, he made his debut in the ACB League with a score of 8-0. At the 61st event, his opponent was the Japanese featherweight Daichi Nakajima. But despite a threefold superiority in experience, all the hopes of the samurai to win were shattered by Borat's neighbor in the second round.
Build a prototypical. Oh! We asked about who would throw the spinning attack first.
Ospanov started with a bang in the promotion with a knockout of the year contender. However, he lost twice in a row after that. He returned to ACA 95 against a dangerous finisher, Lomali Eskiev. Throughout the first 5 minutes, Eskiev was confidently moving forward, but towards the end, Ospanov managed to find his rhythm. The second round summed up the fight with a fateful blow. Rushing into attack, Lomali ran into a knee, which turned into a hit of monstrous power, and of course, a knockout. Growing up in the same gym with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Rustam Khabilov was once considered to be no less promising of a fighter than the UFC lightweight champion-to-be. Khabilov first demonstrated the makings of a potential star back in 2009. The unbeaten Tiger had a 5-fight winning streak in MMA, and without hesitation agreed to meet with Turkish striker Akin Duran in the M1 ring. Not intending to waste any time at all, Rustam in the opening seconds took his opponent into a bear hug and sent him flying first class on Dagestani Airlines.
Punches. Oh, suplex. How's his head? He's out cold. Wow. Landed on his head.
The suplex machine from Dagestan surpassed all expectations, and for the first time in his career, sent his opponent on a long trek through the astral dimension.
Out.
Khabilov would only be lucky enough to have his next knockout victory occur 3 years later, making Nazir Kadizhev his victim in Pro FC. By proving his superiority, Khabilov finally got UFC's attention.
Now.
In 2011, the Chechen middleweight Adam Khaliyev generated an instant hit in the world of epic knockouts. This was only his second performance in MMA for the honored kickboxing and Kudo master. His opponent that evening was Alexei Belyaev, who had 24 fights already under his belt. But after easily destabilizing the enemy's defense with a series of amplitude kicks, Adam demonstrated his fighting genius in all his glory.
Тяжелейший нокаут, так пропускать. Какой удар!
Khaliyev floored his opponent with an impressive tornado kick.
Здорово попал Khaliyev. Тяжелейший нокаут.
And got his hands on the belt of the local organization S70 a year later. But taking an unexpected break from his professional career right after signing with UFC, he returned with only a single fight in 2019. Albert Tumenov is best known as a calculating striker and as a heavy hitter. Confirming the title of a masterful puncher, the welterweight has all his finishes exclusively by way of knockout. With a record of 16-4, he moved from UFC to the Russian League ACB and faced the Shutu Brazil champion Ismael de Jesus. Tumenov, not caring for the beauty of wrestling, went for another masterpiece in his collection at the very first minute.
Back in your home country of Russia and... Oh! I talk about pressure! That's the answer!
By welcoming his opponent with a combination that sent his stiff body collapsing onto the canvas, Tumenov laid the foundation for getting the title. Career growth was not long in coming, and by 2019, Albert became the ACB champion, and also took the gold of the newly formed ACA promotion. A formidable puncher and recent league champion, Beslan Ushukov, was the first to dispute his throne. The opening round turned out to be rather nervous. In the second round, Ushukov tried to drown his opponent in deep waters, but Tumenov showed how good he was at swimming. After returning to a vertical position, Albert made the opponent stretch on the canvas with an accurate uppercut. The ACA's welterweight Gamzatkhanov in September of 2020 had 10 wins in his last 11 appearances. Undoubtedly, he was considered the favorite against the veteran Lomali Nalgiev. In the beginning of the fight, Gamzatkhanov was clearly doing better.
To be defending, there we go. Little jab, push it.
The plan was to wrestle his opponent to exhaustion before they could hear the gong. But Nalgiev figured out the best possible move to turn the game upside down.
20 seconds round.
Oh, there's the up kick! Wow! Lom Ali Nalgiev!
A sudden axe kick from the laying position awed not only the audience, but also Gamzatkhanov, who dropped his hands at the wrong time. A thunderous knockout echoed throughout the arena.
Oh, there's the up kick!
A spectacular axe kick from the back could also be seen in a 2011 bout performed by Igor Slyusarchuk. Having seized his opportunity, Slyusarchuk knocked out the poor fellow with finesse. Today, Zabit Magomedsharipov is known for his inimitable style, which provided the Dagestan Lincoln with a meteoric rise in the UFC. But he hit the big time in the ACB cage, where in the middle of the 2010s he had an impressive series of 4 finishes in a row and snatched himself a chance for a title fight. A Sambo specialist, Magomed Arapkhanov, was the one to dispute to whom the vacant featherweight belt should belong. From the very start, Zabit felt confident and moved forward. However, Arapkhanov turned out to be a tough cookie too, demonstrating his taekwondo skills, as well as wrestling. But in the last minute of the first round, Magomedsharipov managed to drive the opponent to the fence, where he did not miss his chance.
Справа через руку и туда дополнительно слева и левый сбоку. Туда же в подбородок. Вот это нокаут.
After mercilessly taking care of Arapkhanov, Zabit was on the verge of signing with the UFC. The final step would be a bout against Valdinez Silva, the ranking champion in the Brazilian promotion Jungle Fight. But no regalia could help the fella against the precise technique of the Dagestani prodigy.
Oh, huge! Huge! There's the turning around, the referee standing over them.
That's what we said about that wushu sound in the background.
Zabit presented the audience with a stunning spinning back kick, which left Silva no chances.
Standing over them.
In October of 2018, the Dagestan knockout artist Murad Abdulaev was taking part in the welterweight title fight of the Akhmat promotion. As a former M1 champion, he knew how to prove himself in the new league. Abdulaev got himself 2 finishes in a row and received the status of contender. His rival, a kickboxer who was considered to be no less dangerous, Vagaev, boasted the statistics of 16 wins and 2 losses, and a year earlier claimed possession over the Akhmat belt, and was not going to share it with anyone. In the first round, he was leading the action confidently, demonstrating a sharper kicking game. But subtly adjusting his left hand in the first round. In the second, Abdulaev found a way to prove his superiority. Managing to distract Vagaev with an unexpected axe kick, Abdulaev instantly delivered an explosive left hook at a no longer moving target. Even in the MMA, which shines with talent diversity, it is a rare fighter who can take out an opponent with a single staggering shot. But in 2011, lightweight Artem Damkovsky pulled off not 1, but 2 consecutive Knockout of the Year candidates. A representative of the Belarusian fighting school, he claimed the M1 belt a year earlier, defeating Mairbek Taisumov. But in his first title defense, he lost to the American Jose Figueroa. Antun Racic was standing in the way of Damkovsky, who was seeking a rematch. Racic was about to offer a classic wrestler versus striker fight, and after successfully taking the action to the ground, Racic was already attempting an armbar in the 3rd minute. But then came the slam.
Постучать, конечно. Ой-ой-ой, нокаут. Вот это да.
Leaving the audience speechless, Damkovsky slammed the opponent onto the floor, as if copying a classic knockout by Rampage Jackson.
Бежать туда, дышит. Да, дышит, все дышит.
Such a bright performance provided Artyom with a dream rematch with Figueroa. By the 3rd minute, Damkovsky felt enough power to spring into action with a Superman punch. Before getting to our #1 knockout, we have an honorable mention. It's a 2018 bout with an unexpected twist. The unbeaten Croatian fighter Karlo Caput was facing an experienced Ukrainian Sambo practitioner, Renat Lyatifov, in the lightweight category. Things escalated quickly.
Как обескураживающе начался.
Faking a takedown, Caput forced the opponent to drop his hands and knocked him out. Without time to regain consciousness, Lyatifov tried to fight back on instinct, but attempting a double-leg takedown, he found himself in the guillotine. Lyatifov lost the second bout that evening, this time to the referee. Russian finisher Goga Shamatava was going to debut in the ACB promotion in September of 2018. His winning streak counted 11 victories in a row, and obviously he wasn't about to stop. His opponent, Pavel Pastushkov, came on as a substitute with a negative MMA record, hoping for an upset. Before the battle, few were anticipating a real clash of two flyweights. And indeed, starting with a series of kicks, Shamatava occupied the center of the cage. Even though Pastushkov did snap back from time to time, in the second round he was reckless enough to make his tactics clear. Taking note of the upcoming back fist and not being afraid to push things to the edge, Shamatava made the headlines. Pastushkov miscalculated the distance and lost the dizzying duel. The sharp elbow precision of Shamatava's move triggered a one-of-a-kind knockout, stealing the show. This is just the first edition of future knockout collections from Russian MMA. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel.
Тяжеловес.
Языка, блядь.